Welcome back to another episode of the Post Game Clarity Podcast. Today we got something a little different. And it's usually me and my co-host, my brother, my dog, Kev, with us. But unfortunately, he had a lot of stuff to do. He got real busy. He had a tight schedule, man. It's a lot going on. We're human at the end of the day. And we still wanted to get this episode out to y'all because the playoffs have started. Divisional rounds are around the corner, and the college football championship is on Monday. So we wanted to get this episode out to y'all. We're going to try to have another episode out so we can me and him both can have our predictions onto the game. I'm going to give some of my divisional round predictions and my national championship predictions in this video, along with kind of touch on some of the wild card games, or touch on all the wild card games, my opinion on them. And we'll be back with our regularly scheduled episodes with both of us the next time y'all see us, man. Starting off with one of my favorite games, honestly. I'm a big Panthers. I love watching the Panthers play. I love watching Bryce Young. I've always had faith in Bryce Young throughout the process. I feel like when you kind of really watch how his career started and how he's been going, you could always see the potential there, man. But the Rams got the win 34-31 in this game. And this was a very interesting game because I feel like everybody had the Panthers losing. And although they did lose, I don't think anyone had them really keeping it this close, especially in a high-scoring game. My thoughts before the game were that the way Carolina could keep this into the game was if it was low-scoring, it was a dogfight. It was a dogfight, but not in the way I thought. And even with Matthew Stafford, another MVP performance for him, 24 completions for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, along with Puka Nakua's 111 yards and a touchdown. That's classic Rams offense right there. That's Sean McVay's offense. That's what they've been doing to teams all year, and the Panthers kept up. And although they took the L, I feel like this was a big sign for Panthers fans. Of course, this was a great, not only season, but even playoff game for Panthers fans. They happy to be in the playoffs, man, after the year that they've had these last couple years, all the uncertainties at quarterback, all the uncertainties at receiver and their future. Having the season that they had and going to the playoffs and keeping it close with a really, really good Rams team is definitely a win. That's definitely something to build off for them. And if I'm a Panthers fan, I'm happy for the future, man. And not too long ago, they did announce that they will be picking up Bryce Young's fifth-year option. That's the right move, in my opinion. He's your young guy. He's your future. You drafted him. You kept him. I don't feel like there's no point of going out and trying to find another quarterback. You got your guy. In this game, he had 264 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Honestly, when you go back and look at the interceptions that he's had throughout the season, they've all been things that can be adjusted and that can be fixed. Sometimes it's him trying to kind of make the superhero plays that we see him make, and sometimes he just doesn't have to make them. I feel like that goes with, him learning some more and him getting consistent reps. And also, I feel like they kind of need a more aggressive passing scheme because a lot of the times when they commit to the pass game, they put up points. Like this game, they put up 31 points. They stayed with the Rams this whole game, 14 points in the fourth quarter. And it hasn't just been the Rams, man. They've put up points on solid teams all year, and I feel like it comes down to next year staying true in that passing attack and just growing throughout your young quarterback. You got your young wide receiver, 1,000-yard wide receiver, and Ted McMillan. He's a guy that can give you 1,000 yards any season, I believe. I feel like this is, of course, step in the right direction, and this is just something to build off of. I can with some adjustments and with a little bit more weapons and a little bit more weapons on defense, I can see this team being a 10-win team in a couple years. And I feel like that might be crazy to say. Some might think that's a little bit of recency bias. But 8-9 this year, they're in the NFC South. I don't see the Saints getting too much better next season. The Buccaneers, I can see them splitting this. I can see them splitting the series next year with the Bucs, and we know how Bryce Young get against the Falcons. Man, he turns into Tom Brady against the Falcons. I can't even say I feel like he gonna lose to the Falcons at this point. I feel like that'd be unfair to him. But like they've got some quality wins this season, so props to them. Much credit to the Carolina Panthers. Exceeded a lot of people's expectations, not only for this game in general, but for the season. And I feel like they'll be back next year, man. Very, very proud of Bryce Young and company. Moving on to the next game, man. This was the game of the week, in my opinion. This is the game that I had marked on my calendar, looking forward to. I love watching Caleb Williams play. I love watching rivalries in the postseason. It always makes out for a great game. Chicago Bears, man, 31-27. They got the win, but the score doesn't do it justice, man. The comeback, Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears with another remarkable comeback, man. 25 points scored in the fourth quarter. That is amazing, bro. Caleb Williams, call him Iceman. They call him Iceman for a reason. In that fourth quarter, he was clutch, like always, delivering clutch throw after clutch throw on fourth down, fourth and long, third and long. He got it done. This honestly is just a testament to the future that they're building down there in Chicago, man. Ben Johnson, we got Caleb Williams, they got Luther Burton. Of course, they still got DJ Moore. I don't know what they'll be doing with him. And you still got Roma Dunze and company. There's some pieces on that defensive line away from being a team that's going to be running the NFC, bro. This is the first year under Ben Johnson. We know what type of offensive mastermind he is, and his scheme, in my opinion, is only going to get better after Caleb Williams adjusts to it in a couple years. Caleb Williams in this game, 24 completions, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like it's the same thing with his interceptions as they are with Bryce Young. Sometimes you see him, and those are kind of plays that you know he wish he would have back. Some plays that maybe he gets sped up a little bit in his game and not as comfortable as you would want him to be sitting in the pocket or coming outside of the pocket and just making some plays that you be like, in that situation, just throw it away. We're going to live to fight another down. And you can tell, like, when it's the fourth quarter, when it's clutch, his natural talent takes over and his first instinct just takes over. He's a guy that you want to have in his hands in the clutch. Ben Johnson has said it himself. You can see on the sideline, the defense, his wide receivers, they believe in him, man. It's fun to see. The Bears are a super, super fun team. Any Ben Johnson-led offense is going to be fun. But, like, this game was incredible. Like I said, division matchup, it always makes for a fun playoff game. Going forward for the Green Bay Packers, this was obviously a season that was riddled with injury, the biggest one being Michael Parsons, but you also have Tucker Kraft, who before he got hurt was playing like an elite wide receiver. They lost a lot of their weapons. Jordan Love, of course, dealt with some injuries as well. They decided not to fire Matt LaFleur, and I feel like the Packers faithful, they were kind of 50-50 on this. I saw some people saying that they felt like he should be going. Some Packers fans saying that they feel like they should keep him for another year. I know Michael Parsons came out and said he's a big fan of Matt LaFleur and one of the reasons why he wanted to go to Green Bay in the first place. So with your superstar saying that kind of tells you where you're going to go. But I do feel like his time is running out. I feel like next season is going to be a prove it season. Depending on how long how long it takes for him to come back, you're still going to have Jordan Love. You're going to have weapons. We've already seen what Matthew Golden could be in this game alone and throughout the year. When he does get the ball, he's explosive. So next year, I think it's going to be a prove it year for him. And if we kind of see another first-round exit or a season where they're kind of underwhelming, then I feel like they're going to go ahead and fire him, man. I feel like you're also kind of thinking this coaching cycle, trying to decide who would really be a better fit for your team than them. Seemed like John Harbaugh kind of had his sights set on the Titans or the Giants. I don't think they really saw any other coach in this coaching cycle that could really boost their team better than getting rid of Matt LaFleur. So I feel like that kind of also went into the decision as well. They'll be back. They're the Packers. Packers are always going to be the Packers. They're going to be a good team. They're going to be a solid team. It's just seeing if they can get over that hump and being able to get to the Super Bowl because they have the roster to do so. Whenever you have number one Michael Parsons on your defense, you have the possibility. He takes your defense to another level. And with the pieces that the young talent that they have at wide receiver, with Jordan Love still being young, he's going to get better, even better than he was this year, even better than he has been in his career. They'll be back. Not too much to worry about for them, in my opinion. Moving on to the next game. This is a game that I kind of had a question mark on. Going in, I didn't really know who I wanted to pick. I mostly had the Buffalo Bills just because of the playoff experience that Josh Allen has. But also, you got a young team, Jacksonville, with the young first-year head coach. And they caught a streak as of late in the year. That offense was playing elite in those last couple games of the year. This had me questioning it, man. Of course, the Buffalo Bills come out with the 27-24 win. This was a very, very close game. Kind of the way I saw this game going, Trevor Lawrence turning the ball over. But I will say at the end, that was not his fault. I know he's catching a lot of flack for throwing the game, lose interception. While I do feel like it probably wasn't the best pass to make in that moment, throwing across the middle when you don't have many timeouts, but that was a very, very catchable ball from his receiver. That's something that could have been caught to move the chains. So I can't put that too much on him. Expecting your guy to go out there and make a play when your guys have made plays all season and all game can't really say that's his fault, man. But Jacksonville, they're extremely young. That wide receiver core, they've gotten some amazing production. Of course, you're gonna have Travis Hunter coming back. It'll be interesting to see what type of role he'll have next year. I've heard they still want him to play both sides. But like I said, man, Parker Washington, he's been playing some great football, man. Jacoby Myers has been playing great. You got Brian Thomas Jr., who's had a kind of sophomore slump from his amazing rookie year, but of course, we all see the potential. You got Trevor Lawrence in another year of Lynn Combs' system. Um, they have the talent, man. They have the talent offensively and defensively to step up from even the heights that they had this year. I feel like they exceeded some expectations this year, even um, with losing in the first round. I don't really feel like people thought they had. I don't feel like people thought they would have the record that they honestly had this year. So you're starting off strong, exceeding expectations. And this I wouldn't panic. I don't think many Jaguar fans are panicking. You're heading into the right direction, still getting into the playoffs. Next year is when it kind of gets that, okay, we got to the playoffs. We lost first round. Now it's time to go out and get a first round win. It's time to go ahead and make that push into the playoffs. And I feel like that's what they're looking forward to. But it comes with experience. Um, it comes with your coach having playoff experience. It's not really something that Lincoln had before, but you get into these games against a great team in the Buffalo Bills. Those are going to be the type of games that you're going to be going against in the AFC Championship with, because that's the goal to get there in the Super Bowl. Like that's the goal for these teams, especially with a team with that much talent. So not much I would worry about there. Just really getting some good experience, man. Unfortunately, this is the game. This is the game, man. Philadelphia Eagles taking the L to the San Francisco 49ers 23-19. And Philadelphia Eagles, that's my team. But honestly, man, I was able to find the good and the bad. Kevin Patullo was fired after this game, so that was a win for me in and of itself, man. Having to watch that offense that we rolled out there week after week was honestly it was making me lose my love for the game, man. It was just really frustrating to watch after seeing how explosive our offense can be and seeing our offense kind of really just got stale and one dimensional. We struggled to score in the second half because of how quickly teams were figuring us out and figuring us out what our attack and our scheme was. It was a hard watch, man. It definitely was. So it'll be interesting to see what type of offensive coordinator we can get. I've heard Mike McDaniels. Um, I've heard some other names as well. I have a lot of different opinions on that. The Mike McDaniels one I like. I feel like he would be a great pass game coordinator for us. He's very creative. I feel like he's not really fit for for a head coach role right now. I feel like offensive coordinator would kind of for an elite team would be in his best interest. But also, I feel like this would be in the situation that we were in after we won the Super Bowl when Kellen Moore was our offensive coordinator. I feel like once we found success with him, I feel like he would leave for another head coaching job and we'd just be stuck trying to find another offensive coordinator for another year. I want someone who can at least be in the system for a couple years so Jalen Hurts can finally have another offensive coordinator for more than 1 year in a row. So that's kind of the biggest thing I'm hoping for, a person that's not going to just bounce in 1 year. It's kind of hard to find that, especially with how quickly jobs fluctuate in the NFL and how quickly great offensive coordinators are taken up off the market, man. But that's my biggest wish list, finding a consistent offensive coordinator who can get our weapons and get the best out of our weapons, get the best out of A.J. Brown. I know a lot of people feel like we're going to trade him, but I feel differently. I don't feel like we will, man. There's been times in the season where I feel like we would have. I feel like sometimes the media blows it kind of out of proportion a little bit. Of course, you see all the arguments, but at the end of the day, man, it's just football. Two guys competitive. They want to win. They want to be great. They want to go back to the championship. And with the offense that we had, we just weren't going to be able to do it. And I feel like that's where most of the frustration stemmed from. Was not only am I not getting the ball, but we barely winning these games, man. AJ Brown knew, Jalen Hurts knew, a lot of people in the office knew that that offensive game plan was not sustainable, and it proved to be right in this game. San Francisco in that second half, they locked us down, man. We only scored 6 points in that whole second half. They scored 13 points in the fourth quarter to our 3, and that's what eventually got us the game, man. Simple as that. When you can't put up 7 points at least, can't even put up a touchdown in the second half, you're not gonna win many games against an elite team this way, man. Moving on. Speaking of elite team, the New Orleans Patriots. I mean, excuse me, the New England Patriots take care of the Los Angeles Chargers 16-3, man. It wasn't much to see in this game. Um, if you didn't watch, basically, the New England Patriots dominated um, the Chargers in every single aspect of the game, just about. The Chargers have a beat up offensive line. It's definitely not their healthy unit, and you could tell they got dominated this entire game. It wasn't much Justin Herbert could really do. Um, like he had throws that could have been made, but you could tell after that first and second quarter, you could just tell his internal clock was just sped up the entire game. He felt pressure even when it wasn't there. He felt like he had to get the ball out quick, and a lot of times it sped up his decision making. Man, this game was done in the second quarter. Honestly, even with the score being close, you can just tell it was no way the Chargers were going to be able to move the ball enough for them to win this game, man. Justin Herbert, 160 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Um, This was just a team that's beat up. Justin Herbert is beat up himself. Like I said, the offensive line is beat up. They got to get healthy. It'll be interesting to see how they can be when they are healthy. I feel like Justin Herbert, although we haven't seen it in the playoffs from him, I feel like that's the biggest question mark next for his career. We know what he can do in the regular season, but we want to see what he can do in the postseason. And it's always he does get the excuse, and most of the time it really hasn't even been an excuse, but he gets the benefit of the doubt because of his team, or lack thereof, or protection or lack thereof. But the next step next year, and they've built a pretty good offensive line group around him. Just of course with injuries, weren't really able to see that in his fullest potential. But just going into next year, being able to improve and start getting some postseason success, man. And as for the New England Patriots, they're back, man. We all knew that. Drake May, although I do have Matthew Stafford as my MVP, Drake May will definitely be the runner-up. Solid game from him today. 268 yards, one touchdown, one interception. He kind of just really just got the job done today, man. Did what had to be done. But he's been playing some elite football. He's been playing out of his mind, running and throwing. This game, he had 66 yards rushing. He was their leading rusher. That's what he brings to the table, man. He's going to be able to beat you with his arms and through his with his arms and with his legs. We're going to be getting into another game, the next game in the division rounds that they will be playing against. Cut that out real quick. Drake May, man, he's been having a spectacular year, second in MVP voting. Matthew Stafford is my MVP for the year, in my opinion. I just don't feel like with the season that he's having, that you can put Drake May over him. But I definitely can't blame him, man. They're winning. He's affecting the game, rushing and passing. He's playing elite. We saw the signs in his first year. I feel like no one could really, without a doubt, say that he wasn't a good quarterback or even didn't have potential, bro. He showed the signs, man. And this year he just added on to that. Mike Vrabel and company, even with their lack of, like I guess star receiver core, but they've been playing amazing. He's been playing amazing, and this is something that isn't gonna stop. Yeah, Stephon Diggs has been a great addition for them. They've had some great consistency. Of course, you got Trevion Henderson in the running game, along with Drake May's ability to run the ball. Makes them a really, really great team. And you can't just account for Drake May passing the ball because, like I said, he'll run on you, man. So that's something that you always have to be aware of. And it will be interesting to see how the Houston Texans can game plan for that. That'll be a game that I'm going to be really interested. That's the game. That's my personal game that I cannot wait to watch. You got an elite defense. We'll get into that the last game of the wild card round. But we're going to skip ahead a little bit. But with Houston, man, arguably, I feel like the only defense that can really even step up next to them would be the Seattle Seahawks right now. They've been playing out of this world. They play out of this world against Houston in their 30-6 win. This game went from good to bad to ugly very, very, very quickly, man. With the strip sack for 6, the interception. This thing got ugly very, very fast, man. I would hate for this to be Aaron Rodgers' last game because when you're going against a defense like this, like it makes even the greats look bad at times, man. But they didn't stand a chance. They have immaculate players everywhere in their discipline. Of course, the two being Will Anderson and Denelli Hunter on the outside. I'm sorry if I'm messing up his name, man, but both of those guys, they're elite, man. I forgot how many sacks that they have combined for this year, but I think it's 30 or 32, somewhere around that, man. they've both been elite in their own rights. Derek Stingley locking up that side, man. Bullock as the safety position, man. Kamari Lassiter at corner on the other side. They got balls everywhere. Jalen Petrie, Henry To'oTo'o on the middle linebacker spot, man. Like, they got ballers everywhere. They fly around the field. They pressure you from the outside. They protect. They set the edge. They're good in the run game, man. They really have not many flaws on defense. So it'll be interesting to see how an elite offense in the New England Patriots, seeing how they can match up. I feel like that'll be a really, really good game, and that's why that's going to be the biggest game that I'm going to be excited for next week. That game and the Los Angeles Rams versus Chicago Bears is going to be the two games that I'm going to be looking forward to. But we got some very, very good divisional playoff games here. The first one, Saturday, 4:30, you got Buffalo versus Denver. In my first looks at this, I'm going to go with Denver. I'm going to go with Buffalo, excuse me. I feel like the playoff experience of Josh Allen, again, will prevail them to a victory. I feel like Buffalo knows that this is their shot in the AFC to make it to the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs being out, with Patrick Mahomes not being in the playoffs. And Patrick Mahomes, of course, we know being the Bills' kryptonite. I feel like they know this is the year, man. They got to get them one this year, or they got to get past that AFC Championship that they can never seem to get past. And I feel like everyone in that locker room knows it, and they're going to come out with the energy. I got Buffalo in this game, but I would not be surprised if it would be close. All right, the next game, the 8 p.m. Saturday game. This team, man, another divisional playoff game matchup. These two teams have some history, man. Of course, they're in the same division, and it's a rivalry. The players know it. After that last game, there was some chirping going on. Of course, throughout the game, this game is gonna be very, very fun. I feel like the energy is gonna be up for this game. In my opinion, I think the Seattle Seahawks are gonna come out with the win. This 49ers are just so banged up, man. George Kittle being done for the season. We don't know how long he'll be out for, if he'll be even coming back. But the injuries the different type of injuries that they've had, man, and how dominant Seattle has been defensively. Even the last time they played each other, man, and it was a very, very low scoring game. It wasn't much that the 49ers could do with the Seahawks in that game. They only put up 13 points. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I would not be surprised if the 49ers come out with this one, but I think I got to roll with the Seahawks until further notice. My biggest thing for this game is Seattle Seahawks got to start off early, man. Sometimes, especially in the second half of the year, they've had a habit of starting their games off slow, only being able to get 3 points out of certain drives. But with how explosive their offense can be, my biggest key for them would be starting early, getting on the board first, preferably with a touchdown. If they can do that, I wholeheartedly see them winning this game, because their defense doesn't let up too many points. They fly around the field everywhere. They're explosive. They're fast. Yeah, it's not too much else to say. I think I got Seattle Seahawks winning this one, but it definitely would be a fun game for sure. Moving on to the next two games, the Sunday games. First, we got the 3 o'clock game on Sunday. New England Patriots versus Houston Texans. Now, this game had me wanting to pick the Houston Texans coming out with the upset win. New England Patriots are a favorite right now. And I want to. Something in me wants to pick the Texans, man. I really do. But the offense just didn't show me enough last game. They turned the ball over way too many times. C.J. Stroud fumbled way too many times. The interceptions. I do think he's a guy that's going to bounce back. A lot of people don't believe he will. Of course, you got Nico Collins coming down with an injury. Not sure if he will be playing this game. I'm quite sure he will be, though. Says he's diagnosed with a concussion. That'll be interesting to see if he plays this game. Of course, a guy of that magnitude, he's gonna have an impact on what your team is gonna look like. I definitely don't see the Texans winning if he doesn't play. They need him out there. He's that offense. He will make that offense go. I just feel like it's definitely gonna be a low scoring game for sure. And I feel like the New England Patriots will be able to score just enough points to get over this dominant defense. They don't need to score too many points to beat the Texans, especially without Nico Collins. I can see the Texans coming out with a win just because of how dominant this defense is. And man, like we saw against the Pittsburgh Steelers, this defense scores points itself like it's the offense. I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see that. But the New England Patriots have been just so great offensively. They're second in points per game. Like, they're third in point differential, man. Like, this is a great offense versus a great defense. I'll be super interested to see how this turns out. I will be tapped into this game. We both will. Kev not even here. I know he'll be tapped into this game as well. So this will definitely be a fun game. But I got the New England Patriots in this one. But I got the New England Patriots, but I think I'll be rooting for the Houston Texans. Um, and the last game of the divisional round, man, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Chicago Bears. And although the Chicago Bears are the number 2 seed, the Rams are favored in this game, favored by 3.5. I'm gonna go with the Chicago Bears. I'm a big Caleb Williams guy, like I said previously. I'm a fan of his game. He's clutch. I feel like they'll be able to put points up on the Rams. I think, in my opinion, I think this will be a shootout. You got the MVP versus uh, the young comeback kid, man. I got the Bears. They're hungry. They're starving. They're young. They want it. And you also got Matthew Stafford, who knows this might be one of his last chances at getting a ring, man. Although he is playing at the elite level, he is getting older, and we don't know when he might decide to call it quits. Although I highly doubt it after this type of season he will retire. But you never know, and you never know what the team could look like next year. You also got Devontae Adams getting older. You don't know what he might decide to do. You got the best offense statistically in the Los Angeles Rams with your MVP. But I'm going to go against the grain on this one. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. I want to see them pull out the win. I want to see Chicago make a deep run. And I also just don't want the Caleb Williams match to end this game. I want to see him play a couple more games. It's just been so fun to watch this team and how creative they are, and I don't want that to stop. They're going to Chicago, Georgia Fields. That definitely will be an advantage. I can for sure see them coming out in this game, man. So those are my picks for the NFL divisional round. We will, as a whole, have our picks, me and Kev, because mine might change. Like, as of right now, I'm recording this is Wednesday, so we got a couple more days into the games. I doubt my opinion will change, but that's kind of where I'm sitting at right now, man. Moving on to the last game that I'm gonna be covering today, man. This episode is gonna be a tad bit shorter, a lot of bit shorter actually, because it's just gonna be me, man. But like we said, we still want to get this out to y'all, and me and Kevin both plan to dive a little bit deeper into this national championship game. It's gonna be the game I'm gonna be discussing, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I want to both have our opinions on that game. Um, we both love college football, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that with him. But I'm just gonna give a little bit of my insight for this game. Indiana versus Miami. Of course, we all know how the Hoosiers have been blowing everybody out, man. They blew my Tide out. They blew Oregon out. They've been running through teams, and it's just been pure dominance. And on the other end, Miami barely got into the playoffs at all. They weren't even going to be in the playoffs. Many people thought they shouldn't even have been in the playoffs, most Notre Dame fans, but and them going from the 10th seed all the way to the national championship. But I feel like if you've been seeing how Miami's been playing, we always saw this in them. Like, they were like the second half, they played much better football than they did the first half. Their ability to control the ground game, that elite defensive line, I feel like that's kind of the biggest thing that they've had this year. That offensive line and that defensive line. The defensive line gets a lot of credit, man, but them boys on that offensive line, they block their tails off, man. And that's how they're allowed to get some of those big running games that you see Mark Fletcher hit. And it takes the pressure off Carson Beck to where he can have those games to where he might not even cross 200 yards passing, but they go out and get the win because they control the game. He doesn't turn the ball over. And I feel like that's going to be the keys to this game, man. Some of the keys that I wrote down for this game. Number one, this is a given. You cannot turn the ball over against Indiana. They're way too efficient. Their offense is way too powerful. They're way too good. Fernando Mendoza and company. They control the ball way too much and way too efficiently for you to turn the ball over. So that's a no-no. If Miami turns this ball over, their chances of winning this game drop tremendously. Now, where I think Miami can win is they have something that the two teams that have really kept it close with Indiana have, Penn State and Ohio State. When they play Indiana, they were able to run the ball effectively. Indiana is number one in rushing yards per play. I'm pretty sure it's only like 3.1 yards per carry that they allow their defenders to get. And both teams that they played, they might not have, when you look at the stats, rushing wise, it might not be like some of the craziest numbers, but what you see is their rushing yard per play was efficient. They were able to get first downs when they run, and that also helps them control the game. The biggest thing with Indiana is they kind of eliminate your ability to run the ball because they score so many points so fast that the run game you can't really utilize it because the clock isn't in your favor. And I feel like that's what this is going to come down to. Miami's going to have to control the time of possession if they want to win this game. In my opinion, right now, I'm going to say this: if they control the time of possession and they lead, if they have the ball more than Indiana, their time of possession is more than Indiana, I think they will win this game. I'm not gonna come out here and say they're gonna have to rush for a whole lot of yards because no one has been able to do that on Indiana, and I don't see it happening. Although the rushing game has been consistent, they ran against Ohio State, which I didn't think they would do. They ran it against Texas A&M. They were able to run it against Ole Miss, of course. And that's how they've been here. They've been able to control the ground, which has allowed them to control it through the air. And that's another thing that you want to shy away from. You can't shy away from your run game, which is why I think the time of possession will be key because the run game is a big thing for Miami. And like I said, that gets eliminated when you're playing from behind. This team is built to play from in front, to control the game with their run game, and that's something that they can't shy away from here. In my opinion, they have to strike first, and they have to be able to control this game if they want to be able to win. If they can do that, I think they'll be able to win. I have Miami as my pick. I think Indiana they're like 8.5 point favorites. I see Miami winning, man. I got Miami as my pick, and that's not just because they beat us, man. I think Miami can definitely win. It's just gonna come down to, like I said, their front seven. Another thing with their defense, man. The biggest thing is being able to speed Fernando Mendoza up. A lot of the times, and for Indiana, they're so efficient because it all starts with their run game. Their run game allows them to get the quick pass game going. It allows to bring those safeties up so they can take those deep shots. They can take those back shoulder fades that we see them hit. And Fernando, if the target is open or if he's not pressured, it's gonna be a almost perfect ball mostly every time. We saw that against Oregon. He didn't miss a throw all night, honestly, man. So that's just something that you're gonna have to stay away from if you're Miami. You can not allow Mendoza to have time back there. Ruben Bain and company they're gonna have to play the best games that they have played all season, man. Last thing before I get out of here, man. One of the things that I've been seeing circulate around this game is the size difference between Miami's offensive line and Indiana's defensive line. Miami's offensive line has a huge size advantage. I think it's like 51 pounds and like 5 inches of height or something like that. It's been crazy. It's kind of been talked about, and a lot of people are saying this as Miami having the advantage, but I honestly disagree. I think this would give more of an advantage to Indiana. They stump more than anyone in college football. They're great at creating pressure in different ways, and I feel like that also um, their height attests to that, and their size. They're quicker, they're more mobile, and I feel like they're gonna be Miami's gonna see a lot of these stunts from Indiana in this game for sure. They're gonna have to be ready for it. If they're not ready for it, this game can get ugly very, very fast. You don't want Carson Beck to get pressured early. Indiana's gonna come with it. Kurt Signetti and company is gonna be prepared. It's gonna be a great game. I can see it going either way, to be honest. Part of me just wants to stick with the Hoosiers and how elite they've been, but I'm gonna stick with my pick, man. I'm gonna stick with Miami. I think they can really come out and win this game. They want to they're at the crib, man. They want to bring a championship back to the crib, man. It's been a while since Miami has had one. It's gonna be an elite game, and this is great for college football, man. You got two great coaches. Kurt Cinetti, college football mastermind, man. The way he's turned Indiana around has been incredible. It's gonna be super, super fun to watch. I love college football so much, and I'm just glad that we're getting a great game against two well-oiled machines as teams. It'll be super, super fun, man. Our goal is gonna be to try to get another episode strictly covering that game, so we can dive more in deep on player matchups and who we like and don't like, and we will be able to get Kevin's pick on this game as well. With that being said, man, everything in me wants to go with Miami. And that's where I'm gonna stick with. At first, I did have Indiana winning this game, but I'm a root for Miami in this one. I got Miami coming out with the win. I think a lot of people don't think that they'll even be able to keep this close, but I personally disagree. They've got a great unit. They've got a great coach, experienced quarterback, great playmakers across the board. They got enough to get it done. I think this will be a very, very high scoring game. And not really. I think this will be a kind of a close game. I can see it getting into the 25-30s range. with Miami coming out with the win, man. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. I appreciate y'all rocking with me in this episode. It's been rough, it's been some ups and downs. Not used to recording by myself. It's a process. We're gonna get better. We're gonna get through it, man. We're gonna have these episodes pushing out for y'all. We kind of got past that rough patch of consistencies with the different schedules and trying to mix up and match schedules, and that's kind of really been the biggest thing and trying to get these episodes out to y'all. But we're working through it. We're trying to figure out ways to get these out to y'all weekly. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. We appreciate the support. We're gonna get better and better throughout 2026. And with that being said, man, we out.